because he'll follow up, she'll follow up, and then he'll follow up again, and then we'll switch into ult here, which will ult both of them, probably killing her as well. A 79k on the ult there. Hey, let's go, easy clap, and then we'll hit 20k, and then 46k for the follow-up attack. Hits dot damage, goes down. Ain't no way. She died so quick. 2-cycle MOC 11, baby. Let's go. I know you've seen everywhere how to run Dr. Ratio. Put Silverwolf on the team. Put Topaz on the team. Put Payla on the team. What if I said scratch all of that? We don't put any of those on the team. So guys, today we're gonna get wild and wacky because we're running Dr. Ratio, Kafka, Ruan Mei, and just a sustain type character, preferably a tank character. We'll get into that in a second. And even with this team, if you wanted to, you could even slot in a Topaz in a weird way as well. So guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about how this team is built, and then we'll talk about a showcase at the end. The reason I recommend a tank on this team and not a healer is because this light cone right here. What this light cone does is that whenever your tank is hit, it has a base chance of inflicting a burn on the enemy. So it's increasing your defense first and foremost, but it's also putting a burn on the enemy, which is integral to Dr. Ratio's kit because you want debuffs on that kit. Now, of course, this is not the best in slot as you can get other light cones, and if you can get more debuffs on this team, then you don't necessarily have to run this, but I do think this is a free option as far as getting debuffs on the enemy. I mean, you get it for free 99. There's a 120% base chance to do it at S5, and at S1 is a 100% base chance. So if you just have this light cone sitting in your box having nothing at all to do with it, this is a perfect opportunity to maybe use this light cone. Also, running someone like Japar in this team could also help as well, because Japar just inherently with his skill can freeze an enemy, which does count as a debuff. Now let's go ahead and talk about Ruan Mei, which is actually one of the main puzzle pieces here, and I'm going to talk to you about why she is. First of all, she increases the weakness break efficiency, which is really huge. You want to be breaking the shield as much as possible with Dr. Ratio or just anyone on the team, because when you break a shield, it automatically gives a debuff on the enemy. On top of this, if you guys didn't know, I feel like some people don't realize this, not everyone of course, but when you use her ultimate and hit an enemy, that rebloom effect does count as a debuff, so you actually get a debuff from Ruan Mei as well. So right here is going to be another source of debuff for Dr. Ratio. It's going to be really wild and wacky to see this. Just as a quick breakdown of what her build looks like, she's rocking 160 speed right now. She's also rocking energy regen rope, and she is rocking 154 break effect to make her get to her 180 maximum. She also has a lot of speed as well, obviously 160 that is. So this is a pretty, I would say, kind of a hard build. We are using free-to-play mesh and cogs just to get some extra energy because we want to be ulting with her as much as possible, as much as humanly possible anyways, because the more we have that field up, the more debuff we can put on the enemy, which means the more chance for Dr. Ratio to pop off a follow-up attack. Next on this list here is going to be the queen here, which is Kafka. Now, getting into a little bit of how to build a Dr. Ratio team, I think the best builds for Dr. Ratio teams are going to be one debuffer, one buffer, and a sustain type character with him. Now, this is where it gets kind of tricky, right? Because I think that he alone, he does really good single target damage, but I think he needs some help, right? He needs some help for AoE damage. He needs some help just for some extra damage to other players on the field. That's my opinion on that. I feel like the single target damage is great, but just having a little bit of AoE damage on top of that, providing debuffs, which is exactly what Kafka does. Now, I do have an E1 Kafka, but there are ways around that, which we'll talk about in a second here. Right now, I'm just running my Kafka on a 2-piece musket, 2-piece prisoner, with the Glamoth set, with 158 speed, so she does reach that speed minimum of 160 speed when running with Miss Ruan Mei here. Her attack stats at 3500, crit rate, crit damage really doesn't matter too much, and I don't think her effect hit rate, hit rate 46%, so it's okay. As far as light cones go, we are running Good Night Sleep well, just for her to get some extra damage out, but let's go ahead and talk about now. If you don't have E1, what is another source of debuff that you can put on the enemy? That is going to be by running one of 3 light cones, one being Resolute Shine Pearls of Sweat. This will ensnare the enemy, which gives you a defense down debuff on the enemy, which is an extra debuff you can provide with her. Of course, her damage will drop, but this does provide some extra damage for Dr. Ratio. Of course, another option here would be her signature light cone, because her signature light cone causes erode, which puts another debuff on the enemy. And finally, if you have Silverwolf signature light cone Incessant Rain, this could also help your Kafka as well, because this also puts an Aether Coat on the enemy, which provides you with another debuff on the enemy. On top of that debuff though, she also does debuffs from her follow-up attacks. On top of that, she's also doing debuffs from her ultimate move as well. So you're getting lightning debuff from either her talent or ultimate move, on top of breaking enemy shield, which any of these can be applied for, puts a debuff on the enemy. So she can provide 2 to 3 debuffs for the enemy by herself, not to mention the debuff debuffs the other people can give you on the team, right? So if you have her at E1, she can provide up to 4 debuffs for you. If you don't have E1, then she can provide up to 3 debuffs on her. She also does a lot of break damage with her follow-up, her ultimate, and her skill damage. She hits adjacent targets, she hits all targets, and Ruan on the team, increasing that weakness break efficiency just makes her so much better. Now let's talk about the man of the hour here, which is Dr. Ratio. Right now, as far as light cones, I'm running Dr. Ratio with the Topaz light cone because this does provide an extra debuff to the enemy because Tame State is an extra debuff. On top of this, he also provides a debuff from his bonus ability as well, so that's 2 debuffs right there from him. And of course, Wise Man Folly is also putting out a debuff too, so whenever you ult with him, you're getting another debuff from that source as well. I'm going to put a chart up here on screen now of all the debuffs you can currently get from this team, going from like the really free-to-play side of things to the more sweaty side of things like we have right here. But overall, I do think this attests to how good Kafka actually is. Kafka can be used in so many different comps. It is unbelievable that people still call her bad and trash when she can just be thrown. She can be thrown on follow-up teams with Topaz. She can be thrown on just like Kritka teams with her just doing damage. She can be thrown on dot teams. She can just be thrown on so many teams, and I think she complements Dr. Ratio actually really well. Tectone said something in stream the other day saying like, oh, I'm gonna run my Dr. Ratio with my Kafka, and everyone laughed, and I thought about it. I was like, wait, maybe that might work, and it seems like it is working. But anyways, guys, let me show you the power of Dr. Ratio and Kafkusi together in this character showcase. But wait, hold up, guys. If you're enjoying what you've seen so far, and if you've made it to this point in the video, then maybe you should consider subscribing to the YouTube channel because we provide great content like this most of the time anyway. So hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it, and then maybe you can get a chance to win a Black Swan for absolutely free. Anyways, guys, let's go ahead and hop into this character showcase now. Now it's time to absolutely clap this man here. Let's show off what this team can really do here. Let's go ahead and shockify the enemy. Let's go ahead and 17k, not bad damage from her off rip here, but we're gonna increase Kafka's damage by the end. Trust me on this. We're gonna make sure to single target attack as much as we can. We want to shield break these enemies as fast as possible because that's gonna allow us to get the highest average clear time. And that's obviously that's how you get the highest average clear time. Don't worry about me. Dr. Ratio. Bam! 100% follow-up, 39k, 42k, and we aren't even built up all the way yet, but we're gonna start stacking these debuffs on. As you can see, my blood here already has an absolute shit ton of debuff on him, so let's just go ahead and pop this off here. We're actually gonna go ahead and ultimate as well. That was 26k on that skill. Ew, cringe, 43k! Must be nice. And now we can just go ahead and break her shield as well, and we get an extra debuff on him. So if we take a look at both the enemies right now, just from this like first cycle alone, we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 debuffs on this guy right here. So we're getting max passive from him, and then she has 5 debuffs on her, so we're getting max passive from her from Dr. Ratio as well. So we're absolutely going to be destroying this kid right here. We're going to go ahead and pop her ult off because why not? Might as well go ahead and get our stacks up from the MOC buff, right? Here we go. So I think we just go ahead and attack this girl over here because she does do the most damage. She like stuns our team and stuff like that. And what I really like to do here is I'm going to show you guys something really sussy right here. We're going to put the pillar on this girl right here. The reason I'm putting the pillar on, we probably should have waited till this pops off. The reason I'm putting, okay, well, she's going to die. The reason I put the pillar on her anyways is because I'm going to just attack this man with a skill attack. Actually, we can't attack him with a skill attack right now. We can attack him with a skill attack next cycle. Easy clap. Don't worry, guys. We have to skill with Ruan May. I almost forgot. Yeah, she died anyways. Okay, well, we kind of scuffled that. We should have waited until the MOC buff went off before using his skill again here because we just screwed that up really bad because we could have put it on him. Anyways, doesn't matter. He still has 5 debuffs on him. Let's go, Dr. Ratio. 5k, 36k. Okay, that's fine. He didn't crit. He's not at 100% crit rate, guys. He's not at 100%. Yeah, he's at 93% crit rate. Now, guys, if I don't know if this is a bug with Dr. Ratio or what this is, but sometimes when he doesn't crit, he just does not hit any damage at all, which I feel like the damage is kind of wrong. I don't know. It just does not feel right, the amount of damage loss you lose from not critting. I saw on someone's stream today if someone hit like a 12k follow-up and then hit immediately 120k follow-up the next turn. So it was like a 10x increase. I don't know. It seems kind of weird to me. Anyways, this guy should die right here. Let's go, 19k, and we have ult to go ahead and reproc dots or put a debuff on all the enemies right now. Okay, let's go ahead and start breaking his shield. We probably should target the Fangirl because Fangirl can stun us, and stun does not play well with us. Ew, cringe, stinky stun. Now, guys, this is why I run Trend of Universal Markets on the Preservation unit here because she does provide an extra debuff when she gets hit sometimes, so that's really cool. Let's go, Dr. Ratio! Follow-up attack, bam! and her shield's almost already broken. Ooh, okay, we can do this. We can skill here. We go ahead and break her shield down with that. We should probably go ahead and start breaking his shield as well, right? Yeah, go ahead and get a follow-up attack in there. Yeah, you know what? Do what you're gonna do. Oh, that's not very nice. That's pretty stinky. But we're going to use her skill, so hopefully ult. Oh, we didn't get an ult. Okay, we didn't get the ult there. Okay, but it's fine because Dr. Ratio here is going to come up with an absolutely massive follow-up attack. He's going to come in, 43k, 23k on the dot, and then this is going to... Okay, well, that didn't target very well, did it? We're going to have to break that man's shield down. We're going to have to break his shield down. Okay, that's... Wait, this is actually good for us. This is actually good for us because now we can use this ult here, break that dumb fuck shield over there, and now let's pop off. Okay, we're going to use this since we already know where the MOC buff went. We can go ahead and just put this on her over here. Now, I'm going to show you guys why I can't show you this turn. Usually, you would use Kafka's skill and she would hit this guy over here, but right now we can't do that. But it's going to be fine. We have to use a skill here. We have to kind of manage our skill points. We can go ahead and like kind of just pop off all the way on her though if we do this, because he'll follow up, she'll follow up, and then he'll follow up again, and then we'll switch into ult here, which will ult both of them, probably killing her as well. A 79k on the ult there. Hey, let's go, easy clap, and then we'll hit 20k, and then 46k for the follow-up attack. Hits dot damage, goes down. Ain't no way. She died so quick. 2 cycle MOC 11, baby. Let's go. Now, after seeing the immense damage that Dr. Ratio and Kafka can do, it baffled me. Trust me. And if it baffled you too, leave that in the comment section down below. Anyways, guys, if you enjoy what you saw today in today's video, then please subscribe. I think that Dr. Ratio is a really good character. I think Kafka works really well for him, and I think Kafka works really well for just about everyone, as I mentioned before in like the build section. But yeah, very pog, very cool, absolutely demolished. And I think that Dr. Ratio is going to work really well with other characters that provide debuffs and damage, like big damage, like maybe Black Swan, for example, right? But that's just a theory, a Honkai stall rail theory. Shout out to MatPat, RIP him for retiring. Anyways, guys, subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate that, and I will see you in the next one. Later, guys. Bye-bye.